So, was there a pivotal experience that forced you to reconsider how you were living?
Boy, excellent question. And let me preface all of this by saying it was super fun to be on our previous episode that got split into two. For those who haven't listened to it, it was a far ranging, it was more than almost any live speaking engagement I've done, any podcast, any interview, how far it went on so many different topics. And I just loved it. So when you said, hey, I'm rebranding, let's come back, I was in instantly. This was great. So that said, there are a couple moments that are pivotal. The one, and I think we touched upon this a little bit when we were talking about 20th Century Fox. For those who didn't listen to the previous episode, I was a junior software engineer at IBM who fell into film because film went digital and I knew digital. And then I rose up, became a senior executive at a couple studios and stuff like that, and then got back into tech, which is what I do now. That moment of going from film back into tech, that moment was really brought on by the relationship I had with my boss, who was the chairman of Fox Filmed Entertainment, whose name shall remain Satan. I mean, unknown. Um, and I remember the thing that was more important to him than anything was simply is this a branded property? Don't think it was really that important to him if it was good. It was just, is there brand awareness? Like, do I, just by making this movie, the advantage that 40 million people somewhere in the world know Kleenex? So if you brought him Kleenex, the movie, he's like, oh, Kleenex has huge brand awareness. What is the movie about? About people getting sick and blowing their noses? And like that sort of thing, right? You could bring him an amazing original. And it was a very hard uphill slog, right? So around that time where the movies that were on my slate to get made, I was at that time running the Die Hard franchise and Wolverine franchise and some stuff like that for the studio, realized that everything I was going to make there was a spin-off, a sequel, a prequel, a mashup. This is the same guy I worked for who was very proud of thinking to do Alien versus Predator, which, I mean, artistically, how could you not make that sooner? Why did no one think of that before he thought of that? Real. I mean, Picasso cried. So that said, I had that moment of like, am I going to be like 40, 50, 60 years old? Like, hey, kids, daddy's making, Die Hard 400. The great grandchildren of Bruce Willis are, climbing buildings and talking to Alan Rickman's great grandchildren. I mean, is there anything here? Like, I got into story because I think story is how we teach each other about the world. It's how we communicate values without saying like, don't steal, don't beat people over the head, don't distrust people you don't know just because you don't know them. Like those ideas are best expressed through story because they sort of slide in the narrative. And you go, oh yeah, okay, so I understand why the star-bellied Sneetches did this, or Horden heard a who and believed that there was value in people who couldn't defend themselves, or that sort of thing. I realized nothing on my slate had anything to do with that. And I was like, I have to get the F out of here. Didn't look back. A lot of friends were like, don't you wish you were still in film? I'm like, honestly, I don't know. I'd be super excited. As soon as I went to Marvel and was like, oh, you're the executive on Ant-Man 5, which a buddy of mine is. And you're like, when is that going to get made? Well, we have a script for it already, but in 4 years, we should be ready to make it. And it's just, we crank them out. It's a factory. We just make Ant-Man movies and we make Avengers movies and that sort of thing. So that was a real crisis for me of like, this is such a prestigious job. People from the outside think it's awesome. And the reality is I sit here talking about how much screen time does Bruce Willis have? Is it enough? Does he have enough shooting days in his window in the spring?
So you left it all.
Completely. Trust me, when you leave film, because it is a business of transactional friendships, you leave film. Like, it's not like all your old buddies want to hang out, because once you go from, I can buy your movie and I can argue to get $150, $200 million to make it, to, hey, I'm your friend, the phone don't ring. Let me just be super clear. Like, people have to move on to the next studio executive who's going to make their movie.
It's sad.